Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Wound Care. This may be the last time I film this, because I don't always film this. It may, however, not be the last time I film this. But I had an infection, the doctor had to cut it out. And now I've got to change the bandage every now and again. And this wound actually appears to me to be dry and in pretty solid shape right now. I don't know what the doctor's or what the nurse actually is going to say tomorrow morning, but they will say something. So I have got to change this bandage, and tomorrow maybe the last change, and whether I film it or not, because I don't always film it, is a thing. So I have various other medical things I have to do while I'm doing this. I'm going to talk about movie sequels. And is Hollywood out of ideas? Well, I'm just going to talk about the Hollywood situation. 10-minute timer is set. Thumb is submerged. And, we're off here. So I just saw Megan 2.0. Do I have... Oh, yes, I do have lens sets. Go here. So what I'm doing here is I'm taking my blood sugar. Really supposed to do this 3 times a day before every meal, but I'm not. So whether or not I consider this to be an acceptable blood sugar take or not will depend on what my next blood sugar take looks like. But here we have the lancet will pierce my tissue here. But in any case, people are saying is the movie theater is dying. Home theaters are a lot better. Movies aren't as good as they used to be. Seeing them in theaters is not quite as important. And I mean, Star Wars is not what it used to be. Of course, one thing you do have to remember here is that the poor have been getting poorer this whole time. $183. Again, not good for me, but not bad either. Of course, I have to write this number down. That becomes medical waste. I mean, look. Home theaters are nothing new, all right? It wasn't until Laserdisc came out that we could really have the theater experience in our home. Okay, but... the 80s, movies were at their peak, or at least at a peak. was often considered the second golden age of cinema. And, you know, home media and home theaters had become a larger and larger thing at that point. So, no, you know, it's nothing really all that new that they've had major competition. This is insulin, by the way, and I have to clear the nozzle, then set it. Okay. All right. Two insulin injections to do. But, yeah, you know, it's like CinemaScope, which was performed with 3 projectors, was originally designed to compete with television, because they said, you know, who's going to want to watch that little tiny screen when you can watch this nice big one? So it was like, yeah, you know, they did their best to make the screens bigger, to make the movie experience more interesting with gimmick films. And they did a lot of things like that, all right. And all those things died out. I mean, every now and again, 3D makes a comeback. But audiences were not originally impressed with 3D. It's gotten better over the years, of course. But, you know, the cinematic experience is still the cinematic experience. And that experience being cinematic, well, does it need to be? I don't know if movie theaters will ever die out completely. Although it is true that we as a species are becoming more home-oriented. I mean, if I don't have to go to the store, why go to the store? In fact, because of this, they say there's an epidemic of loneliness. And we as human beings are just becoming less and less social. Which is weird because we have more and more social media to rely on. And, yeah, you know, it's like I know a guy, I've never actually met him, but he lives not far from me, and he's been saying, hey, bro, let's hang out together for months now, and nothing ever comes of it. And I have a friend that I've known for years now, and he said, hey, bro, let's go to In-N-Out together, and nothing ever comes of it. And that's the world we live in. You know, that's how those things kind of work. So, there are a number of factors that are pushing down the theater. Better home experience, lack of disposable income, and a more home-oriented people. You know? These are all things that should worry us. But then, I don't know. Every time the economy fails and we have a recession, fewer and fewer people re-enter the middle class. I myself would consider myself lower class, although I think economically speaking, the point would be arguable. But that's all it is arguable. I'd be very much lower middle class if I am anything. So the cinematic experience, well, it may be on the way out, but, I remember when I was a kid, there were 3 movie theaters by the mall. They're all gone. Now, it's just the one movie theater in the mall. And that movie theater can play just about everything. The cinematic experience is certainly evolving. And I don't know where it's really going. Will it ever disappear completely? Probably not. Will it maybe not have as many screens in the future? Probably. I mean, there used to be an AMC 30 theater that I would go to because they would play the more obscure movies. And playing the more obscure movies was what I was into. Well, they shut down. They shut down a major part of their theater, and I think they only have half as many screens now. The reason being is that, there's no reason for them to be functioning those screens. Now, do understand something. Movie theaters don't make their money from ticket sales. They make their money from concessions. All right? And if you've got more screens, theoretically you can put more movies in your... This does not unfold, does it? No, it does not. Oh, there, yeah, it does. Okay. Theoretically, you can put more movies, have more time between them, and sell more concessions. But you still have to have staff to clean the theaters. So that's an issue. Now, whether or not it's a staffing problem or not, I don't know. All I really know is that theater doesn't play all of its screens. And it's sad that it doesn't play all of its screens. I wish it did. But with no one to watch them, and I haven't gone there myself in years. I think it's been more than a year since I've gone to my favorite movie theater. I used to go to the movies every weekend. With the average American having less disposable income, it being more and more likely for you to get heckled by a homeless person when you go out to the movies or even go to the grocery store, what is there to do? I don't know, folks. We live in a world that is troubled. And it's happened many a time. The economy has always been the rich get richer, the poor get poorer. Revolution, rinse and repeat. Anyway, thank you for sharing this moment with me. I'm Richard.
Background courtesy of Photographs of a Mad Richard. Link in the description.
Danger Ducky says it is now time for you to comment, like, and subscribe, and support this channel so we can do things like save the world by removing trash from the ocean, planting trees, and feeding orphans. Danger Ducky approves.